These fires caused the loss of many lives. But why were so many lives lost? One thing these fires have in common is that they occurred in buildings that had only one staircase. It is thought that a factor which contributed to the increased damage was that the staircase, which was the only evacuation route, became unusable due to flames and smoke, delaying the victim's escape. This video will follow a storyline to explain life-saving actions to take in order to avoid similar losses in an assumed scenario where a fire breaks out in a building with a single staircase. What should you do if a similar fire occurs in your building? Please imagine the scenario as you watch the following.
うわ、火事だ。火事だー。火事だ
ー。どうした？結城と今は消火器で消火。続きはお客さんの避難誘導。私は119番通報する。はい。
The following video is of a failed evacuation, so think about what should have been done as you watch.
結城と今は消火器で消火。続きはお客さんの避難誘導。私は119番通報する。はい。
どうしよう。避難誘導って何すればいいんだっけ。
They were unable to evacuate. Now let's look at the key points of evacuation. Evacuation routes are limited in a building with only one staircase, so while visibility is good, locate the evacuation route and determine whether or not it is possible to escape via the staircase. In principle, the staircase should be used to evacuate if the staircase is usable. Be sure to close all doors that lead to the staircase to prevent smoke spreading inside the staircase and to higher floors. Also, if there are windows in the staircase, opening the windows can control the staircase from filling with smoke. If a fire compartment is installed in the staircase, be sure to close the fire door leading to the staircase to prevent the fire and smoke spreading to the staircase and upper floors. Depending on the size and use of the building and the era in which it was built, a fire compartment may not be installed in the staircase, but installing one is very effective in providing an escape route. Be sure to ascertain regularly what areas are used for evacuation routes. In addition, employees who are in charge of evacuation should give calm and clear instructions. So what happens if you evacuate with these points in mind? Let's take a look.
どうした？結城と今は消火器で消火。続きはお客さんの避難誘導。私は119番通報する。はい。
2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。階段を使って落ち着いて避難してください。2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。階段を使って落ち着いて避難してください。エレベーターは使用せず階段から避難してください。エレベーターは使用せず階段から避難してください。エレベーターは使用せず階段から最後ですね。最後です。
The evacuation was successfully completed. Drills should be conducted regularly to ensure that you can evacuate quickly. Next, let's look at what to do when escape via the staircase is not possible and evacuation equipment is installed. The following video is of a failed evacuation, so think about what should have been done as you watch.
2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。 落ち着いて避難してください。
煙で階段から避難ができない。
奥の部屋に避難器具があったはず。そちらに避難しましょう。確かこの辺に。
これじゃないですか？
これです。これを使って避難しましょう。
どかすの大変だな。
これどうやって使うんだ？使い方がわからない。
They were unable to evacuate. Now let's look at the key points of evacuation. The key point for evacuating when the staircase is not available is to evacuate via the balcony if it can be used effectively, or evacuate by using evacuation equipment effectively. There is various evacuation equipment in addition to evacuation ladders, such as evacuation ropes and slow descent devices. In order to use evacuation equipment effectively in an emergency, it is important to know where it is located, maintain it regularly, and know how to use it. When installing equipment voluntarily, it is preferable to install one-action evacuation devices that are easier to operate. Please contact your local fire station if you have any questions about evacuation equipment. So what happens if you evacuate based on these points? Let's take a look.
2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。
煙で階段から避難ができない。
奥の部屋に避難器具があったはず。そちらに避難しましょう。こっちです。こっちの部屋に入って。逃げ遅れはいませんか？棚にアルミテープがあるので取ってきてください。
はい。
避難器具を使って避難しましょう。火事です。千代田区大手町4丁目5番6号東証ビルの火災です。2階の奥の部屋に4人避難し、避難器具で避難中です。
They could evacuate quickly because Mr. Suzuki knew where the evacuation equipment was located and how to use it. Conduct drills regularly to confirm the location of evacuation equipment and how to use it. Now let's look at what to do when escape via the staircase is not possible and evacuation equipment is not installed. The following video is of a failed evacuation, so think about what should have been done as you watch.
2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。
煙で階段から避難ができない。
奥に窓のある部屋があるので、そちらに避難しましょう。こっちです。こっちの部屋に入って。煙を出すために窓を開けて救助が来るのを待ちましょう。はい、はい。
Smoke quickly reached the room where they evacuated. Let's take a look at the key points for evacuation when the staircase cannot be used to escape and there is no evacuation equipment. Evacuation routes are limited in a building with only one staircase, so it is important to also consider temporary evacuation in case the staircase is not available. The key to evacuating is to close all doors that can be closed while evacuating. Securely closing all entrance and exit doors will prevent smoke infiltration. Lean your upper body out of the window to let people outside know where you are. Report to the fire brigade again any information, such as people who are unable to escape. If you are temporarily evacuating and waiting for the fire brigade to rescue you, close all doors that can be closed to form a compartment and buy time by preventing smoke from filling the area as much as possible. So what happens if you evacuate based on these points? Let's take a look.
2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。2階のエレベーターホールで火災が発生しました。落ち着いて避難してください。
煙で階段が避難ができない。
奥に窓のある部屋があるので、そちらに避難しましょう。こっちです。こっちの部屋に入って。逃げ遅れはいませんか？棚にアルミテープがあるので取ってきてください。
はい。
肺炎のため窓を開けてください。
はい。
できる限り姿勢を低くして煙を吸わないように気をつけてください。
はい。
火事です。千代田区大手町4丁目5番6号東証ビルの火災です。2階の奥の部屋に逃げ遅れが4名います。ここです。ここにいます。助けてください。
By closing the doors while evacuating, the smoke was contained and time was bought, allowing the people to be rescued safely. How to evacuate when the staircase cannot be used should also be confirmed during drills. Finally, here is an explanation of the key points to prevent the spread of smoke. It is important to form compartments that can insulate smoke in order to prevent the spread of smoke. Let's take a look at a simulation of smoke filling an office area in a building in Kitaku, Osaka City, which caught fire in December 2021, and a video image of the visibility distance in the evacuation area. First, this is if compartments are not formed. The smoke spread rapidly as soon as the fire started and quickly reached the back of the room where people had evacuated. It became difficult to see after 40 seconds, and after 60 seconds, it was impossible to see anything. So what happens if compartments are formed? Let's take a look. When the spread of smoke was suppressed by closing doors, the smoke was significantly suppressed and had hardly reached the evacuation room even after 60 seconds, and there was almost no change in visibility. Thus, the way smoke spreads varies greatly depending on whether or not there are compartments. When evacuating, close all doors that can be closed as much as possible to limit the spread of smoke. To form compartments, it is effective to install fire-resistant and smoke-insulating doors in corridors and rooms, but sealing gaps in existing doors with aluminum or similar tape also has a certain effect. When a fire occurs in a building with one staircase, there are 3 actions that are especially important to prevent similar casualties in your building or business. 1. Know about the fire as soon as possible and notify everyone in the building as soon as possible. 2. Prevent the spread of flames and smoke. 3. Secure evacuation routes. And even if the staircase is not available, assess the situation appropriately and take evacuation actions as much as possible. Conduct drills and checks on a regular basis so that we can act to protect our lives in case of emergency.